Hey, it's Chuck. If you've ever watched a marriage get quiet under the weight of a sick child, then this one's for you. Let's dive into it. One of the least discussed parts of a serious pediatric illness is what it does to the two adults standing next to the child. Kid is the one whose brain is on fire, so it stands to reason that that's where all the attention goes. But the marriage becomes a casualty. And the way it breaks is almost always the same pattern. One parent becomes the researcher, usually but not always them all. She reads everything, she joins the Facebook group, she learns what the Cunningham panel is. Understanding the illness is the only thing that makes her feel like she has any control whatsoever. And the other parent, they cope differently, usually, but not always the father. He throws himself into logistics or into work or shuts down completely because every conversation about the illness feels like he's drowning. Neither response is wrong. They're both legitimate ways of coping with the situation that nobody was trained for. But here's what happens when they collide. She feels alone carrying the entire mental load of the illness, while her partner seems unreachable. She interprets his distance as not caring when actually he cares so much that he can't face it without breaking. He feels useless. She becomes an expert in something that he can't follow. He doesn't know what to do with his hands when the kid's in a rage cycle, and he starts to feel like a bystander in his own family, so he retreats further, which makes her feel more alone, which makes him feel more useless. And that's the cycle. It spins for months and sometimes years. In the clinical literature, it's called caregiver discordance, when two parents are facing the same crisis and they develop a non-matching coping style, and those styles start working against each other instead of together. It's one of the most consistent predictors of marital distress in families with chronically ill children. Not the illness itself, but the mismatch. And here's the part that nobody warns the couples about. Intimacy disappears. Not because anybody decided it would, but because there's no room for it. Every conversation becomes logistics, and every hug is interrupted by a scream from upstairs. So they stop becoming partners and start being coworkers in the hardest project of their lives. And at some point, one of them looks across the kitchen at the other one and thinks, I don't even know who you are anymore, which is the same thing that they're thinking about their kid. But here's what I want you to hear if you're in this. What's happening between you and your partner is not a sign that something's wrong with your marriage. It's a predictable result of two people trying to absorb unsurvivable stress while being the only two people on earth who fully understand what's happening to your child. The distance you're feeling is not the end of something, it's just the weight of something. And the mismatch is how you cope. It's not betrayal, it's biology. Different nervous systems respond to crises differently, and nobody taught either of you how to hold a marriage together during this. The single most protective thing that you can do is to name it out loud. Tell your partner, I'm becoming the researcher, you're becoming the logistics manager, and I feel alone, and I don't want you to feel useless. I don't want either one of us to be right about this. And then have a conversation, just 10 minutes, not about your child, about the two of you. And that sentence alone can keep a marriage breathing through a year that would otherwise end it. I'm Chuck, the bald therapist. Work on you. Take no bullshit. Remember that you matter, and have a gentle rest of your day.